History repeats itself. Even in faces, some celebrities look exactly like people from history. Let's see the most shocking resemblances. Nicolas Cage and Civil War soldier. Civil War photo from the 1860s looks like Cage himself. Alec Baldwin and President Millard Fillmore, presidential twin from the 1800s. Jennifer Lawrence and Zubeida, the Hunger Games star, has a vintage double in Egyptian cinema. Bruce Willis and General Douglas MacArthur, action star and World War II general, uncanny resemblance. Michael Jackson, an Egyptian statue, an ancient pharaoh carved with MJ's features. Peter, Dinclo and Sebastian Diora, 17th century Spanish court jester painted by Velázquez. Michael Douglas and George Washington. Even the father of America looks a bit like Michael Douglas. Macaulay Culkin and young Vladimir Putin. Spooky resemblance, almost identical in youth. Brad Pitt and Herman Rorschach. The man behind the Rorschach test looks like Brad Pitt's ancestor. Andrew Garfield and Leon Trotsky. Spider-Man meets Russian revolutionary. Matthew McConaughey and man's great-great-grandfather. An old family photo shows a man who looks just like McConaughey. Mark Zuckerberg and King Philip IV of Spain. Royal portrait looks like the Facebook founder. Jimmy Fallon and Mahir Kayan, Turkish revolutionary with Fallon's face. Queen Latifah and Zora Neale Hurston, author of the Harlem Renaissance. Strikingly similar. Justin Timberlake, an 1800s man from Tennessee. Even his haircut matches the vintage photo. Matt Damon and Ivan Kochetkov. Hollywood's action man looks just like a Soviet war hero. Stephen Fry and Oscar Wilde. Fry even played Wilde on screen because they truly look alike. Tommy Lee Jones and President Andrew Johnson looks like he walked out of the 19th century. Keanu Reeves and Paul Mune. Immortal rumors identical to a 19th century French actor. Sylvester Stallone and Raphael's painting. A Renaissance portrait by Raphael looks strikingly like Stallone. Maggie Gyllenhaal and Rose Wilder-Lane. Journalist twin, same facial structure and eyes. Eminem and Severus Alexander. A Roman emperor's bust looks exactly like Slim Shady. Tom Holland and Stephen McNichol. Spider-Man's twin is a rough gang member from history. Bill Murray and Edgar Allan Poe. Comedy legend meets Gothic writer. The resemblance is eerie. Ellen DeGeneres and Henry David Thoreau, writer and philosopher who looks just like Ellen. Sacha Baron Cohen and Joseph Stalin, the dictator and the comedian. Same face, different vibe. Orlando Bloom and Nicolae Grigorescu, Romanian painter from the 1800s, Bloom's artistic twin. Charlie Sheen and John Brown, the fiery abolitionist from the 1800s, looks just like Sheen. Jay-Z and Harlem Loiterers, a 1930s photo of men in Harlem shows a face identical to Jay-Z. Shia LaBeouf and young Albert Einstein, a genius resemblance. Adrian Brody and John Locke, the philosopher of liberty, has the same features as Brody. John Krasinski and Carl Feilberg, the star of The Office, resembles a 19th century businessman. Jack Black and Paul Revere, the American patriot, looks just like the comedian. George Carlin and Charles Darwin, the father of evolution and the father of comedy, share the same face. Conan O'Brien and Marshall H. Twitchell, Civil War-era politician with Conan's face. Michael Phelps and Charles Lamb, the Olympic swimmer, mirrors this English poet's look. Jon Stewart and Henry Ward Beecher, the artist, shares features with a fiery 19th century preacher. Leonardo DiCaprio and Judy Zipper, a young woman from the 1960s, could pass as DiCaprio's twin. Paul Giamatti and William Shakespeare, the bard himself, could be Paul Giamatti's twin. John Travolta and Civil War-era man, 1860s portrait, could pass as Travolta's ancestor. Florence Welch and Joan of Arc, the singer, resembles the legendary warrior saint. Comment which resemblance shocked you the most, and don't forget to like and subscribe.